part is done, and it looks like it's absorbed all that water. So now we're just going to shut off the heat and leave it for another 10 to 15 minutes or so, just to let that rice finish absorbing water. Okay. All right, so the hot sauce, it varies from truck to truck. You know, I remember when I was growing up in New York, or in the 90s and 2000s, the sauce was kind of a chunkier sauce made with, it was like a grittier sauce, and it had, you know, chili seeds, and you could see it was made with some kinds of dried chilies, but it's a sort of vinegary, very spicy, quite spicy hot sauce. You know, if you're going to do it commercially, if you have a Middle Eastern market near you, if you get a sauce called shatta, which is like made with chilies, it's a chili sauce, that comes very close to what I remember the Halal Cart guys having. But I'm going to make a sort of blend of my own. I'm starting with a little bit of jarred harissa. This is the Mina brand. You know, harissa also varies hugely. So this is the Mina brand, which is a kind of fresher. You know, it looks almost like a sambal. You know, really good flavor in there, but it's not particularly hot, despite the fact that they say it's spicy. So I'm also going to add a little bit of this ghost pepper sauce. This is a Cutino Sasco ghost chili hot sauce, which is a sort of vinegary, also not crazy spicy, even though it's made with ghost chilies, but with those two together, I think you get a pretty decent level of heat. Hot and vinegary and well seasoned. All right, so there's nothing left to do other than when the rice is done, we're going to start plating it up. We're going to reheat the chicken, and yeah, I'll come back then. So we'll let the rice sit for about 10 more minutes. So I'll see you in 10 minutes. All right, so I've drained my onions. I just opened up the rice and fluffed it a little bit with a spatula, seasoned it a little bit more. So now that's just going to go into a serving bowl, one of these beautiful bowls from Orcas Island Pottery. If you're ever up in Orcas Island, I highly recommend going to visit Orcas Island Pottery. Okay, and then we're going to dump this chicken right back in here with all of its juices, and we're just going to give it a final little cook up. We're going to let those juices reduce. We tasted a few pieces, Lena and I tasted a few pieces and need a little seasoning, so we're going to season it. I think it could actually use a little bit more of that lemon. I'm going to do that. I'll do a tiny splash of my fancy olive oil also because I can't help myself. You know, recipes like this, it's like, it's really about the process, about the technique, about, you know, marinating and searing that chicken, getting the flavor into the rice. The balance of the spices and the seasoning and the acidity, those are all important, but they're really, you know, down to your own personal taste. So you should feel free to go off script a little bit when you're working on this. During the when my restaurant was shut down in San Mateo, you know, we made a bunch of sort of food boxes for community centers and hospitals and stuff like that. And, you know, we were getting ingredient donations all the time. You know, suppliers would be like, oh, I've got like 20 cases of chickens that are going to go bad. Can you do anything with them? And they're like, yeah, we can bring them to these people who need to eat. And so working with ingredients, you know, we ended up with a sort of outline of recipes that we would follow, but we adapted them really based on what ingredients we had. And that's just, you know, a really useful technique to have at home. So once you sort of get the basic steps down for a recipe like this, you can always feel free to change up the flavor. You know, you don't have to go with the oregano and coriander. You know, you could use harissa in the chicken blend. You could use like you know, your favorite barbecue spice blend in here. That'll be good. Let's go down a little taste.
So I'll be right back.
Delicious and juicy. I think we're ready to serve. All right, so when we serve this, I like to keep everything separate, and then people can just kind of build their own plates the way they want them, you know? So we'll have a bowl of chicken here. We'll have a bowl of rice. We'll have all our vegetable sides, and then we have our sauce.
Am I supposed to get somebody to live there, or
on the streets of New York?
Or what?
So I'll get a plate here.
Ooh. What is this? Robot bug.
Pile on some chicken. This is really, you know, more of a rice dish than a chicken dish, so the ratio of rice to chicken doesn't actually need to be that high. Of course, you can flip the ratio if you'd like, but you know, it's each bite should be, I'd say, 70% rice and a few juicy chunks of chicken in there to get it. Actually, realistically, each bite should be like 70% sauce. some iceberg over here. I'll do a bit of onion. And we'll do some tomato.
I wonder if the
All right, and finally we're gonna
thing got
sauce it up.
the
If you want the real authentic experience, you can transfer these sauces to a squeeze bottle, and do like a little zigzag of each sauce around. But we're just gonna do a drizzle, everything. Hot sauce goes.
Am I supposed to water these? I thought it's water because it's next to the thing.
And then I'll do some hot sauce also. If you want, you could also stuff this into a pita, or skip the rice and just serve some pita bread on the side,
I don't know.
or do both. But that is it. There's our finished New York style halal cart
Why am I walking
chicken
so
and rice.
slowly?
As I said, one of my most popular recipes of all time, and I guess I see why. It's tasty. It's not too hard. It makes you feel like you've really accomplished something when you're done.
Cows.
Yeah, I've never had anyone try this that didn't really kind of love it. All right, shall we eat some of this guy? I feel like I need a plastic fork and a clamshell to do this, but get some chicken, get some vegetables. Takes me right home. This takes me back to like what I wanted to eat if I went to like a show and had a little too much to drink and needed some good padding in my belly. All right. I would talk, but I'm just gonna eat more instead.
Tips on
No,
living
I take it
here.
back. I do understand why it's one of my
Who's
most popular
saying that?
recipes. And it's because it's delicious. It's got, the chicken is juicy, really flavorful from that double marinating process. The rice picks up a ton of flavor. This is much better than the rice I had in the original recipe, because it got all that delicious chicken fat and brown flavors in there. Vegetables, this creamy sauce tying it all together. You get a little heat. It's just, it's one of those dishes that it's got a little something for everyone. Halal cart style chicken and rice. Guys, gals, non-binary pals, you can get the recipe on my Patreon. See you later. Hey everyone, thanks for watching. Head over to KenjiLopezAlt.com. There you can find links to join my Patreon. There's various tiers with different perks, but that's where you're going to find all of my printed recipes. Most of them are for free. You'll also get access to special perks like new product releases, early access to things, live streams, AMAs.
What's this thing?
At KenjiLopezAlt.com, you'll also find my shop where you'll find all of my books. You can get them signed and personalized, shipped anywhere in the world, as well as my products and product collaborations. You'll also find live event listings there. I do live events sometimes, and I'd love to see you come by. All right, see you later.
4:11 p.m. Good afternoon.
Can they water everything? Did I? He's eating. Hello, hello. Hello, hello. Hello. You say goodbye, I say hello. Oh. high. I don't know what's going on. I don't know what to do here. Should I keep watering things? I should water this place, huh? Do I have a digging tool? Rotiller? No. I'm carrying too much stuff.
Three Q Mega 600 CORRE. Repeater, welcome.
I don't know how to do this. Right. Where was that thing I found before? What was that thing? We lost it. It's a hole in the ground. Oh, here? Here. Stir slate. I don't know what that's for. This building. Important quest underway. I'm gonna rebuild the Pokemon Center. At the current. Okay. Oh, yeah, I have enough money. Yes. That was a terrible picture. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know what to do here. I don't know what to do here. I'm kind of confused what to do. I can't wait. Can't wait for what? Are you gonna follow me? I thought I was gonna follow you. I don't know where to go. Where's he going? Must be a way to spray more water, isn't there? Hey, who said that? Beyond, beyond the stone, someone beyond the stone, beyond the stone, beyond the stone. One smooth rock. Am I supposed to be picking up all these mushrooms or no? Where am I going? Holy cannoli. There's some precious metals in here. Wants to break through this thing? Can't get through. Sure thing, bud. Stone tiling. Rockbuster. This would be a good time if I got understood my Pokemon better. One torch. I need to find a Pokemon who can break open rocks. Right? But where would I find that? I feel like taking a nap. Can't go any further. I'm gonna die. I'm gonna go take a nap. I'll be back later tonight.